And look at that, I already have the recording going. I am on top of this stuff. Lots of good stuff going on. Man, what a day. Welcome again, everybody, to another Mindset Mastermind, where we get together every morning for 30 minutes, get our daily dose of information, motivation, inspiration, so we can get attacking our day. And man, the content we are deep in, the appendix of Ninja Selling has really been powerful. And today we're still in the 16-step listing process. Now, before we dive on that, I want to have a little fun on a different topic with you guys. And that is this. Get your cameras on. I can't see all of you. Let's start there because this is a show of hands kind of thing. Boom, and there's Rhonda. Boom, boom. All right. Come on, cameras on. I think I got everybody up. So for those of you in the room, and I know there's a large number of you that are, now we'll actually shift first. By show of hands in this room, how many of you are producing 8 or more transactions a year? So in 2024, you closed at least 8. Okay. And I see a couple. So for the rest of you, I want to have a conversation, especially if you are in our brokerage world of EXP. Here's what we have discovered. I had a great meeting yesterday with the CEO and the Chief Operating Officer talking about our numbers, talking about what happens for agents. And if you are 7 or less transactions a year, you have over 90% you're getting out of the business. Over 90% of agents that are producing in that level are ultimately getting out of the business. And so we want to fix that. And one of the tools we have here is called Fast Cap. And I was looking at the numbers, looking at what's happening, and the people that show up and actually do the work, meet the minimum requirements of what they're asking you to accomplish, and stay in that space cycle after cycle so you stay in the activities, all wind up with 8 or more deals in that year. So I am going to the chat and I am going to post that link so you guys can sign up and get in there. There's still room in the March 5 launch. And I want to help you guys produce. That's why we do this. We're in here to have great conversations. Yes, we're in here to connect. The most important thing for me, though, is to make sure that you guys are producing at a high level, feeding your family, making magic happen. So if you are not already signed up for Fast Cap, get in there. Number 2, if you have other agents in your world who are also struggling with production right now, share the link, get them in. I'm helping with the content now. I'm going to be helping with some other pieces over there. Man, I want to help you get going. And a big part of it, by the way, is learning how to do the stuff we're already learning. You guys are going to be light years ahead. So as always, it's your room. I've got a little bit of a monologue here. And so I want to turn it back over to you guys as always and see who is ready to speak up and share what they've pulled out of the 16-step seller process. So I am, in theory, watching the hands. Man, you guys are awesome. All right, Brittany, I see your mic's hot. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. What do you got, my dear?
That was a mistake.
Well, like Bob Ross say,
that was a happy little mistake. Yes. Come back to me. How about that?
I am happy to do that. I appreciate
Thank you.
that. Absolutely. So, Carrie, always can rely on you, man. And by the way, my dear, a year ago, you were not one to speak up. And I love, again, we were in class together on Tuesday. just how much she's grown, the different person she is becoming is just a joy to be a part of. So what do you got from the content?
Thank you. I liked the auction part because I wouldn't have used that. I would have never said that. But I do like it because it, um, like I said, where is it? It's D. They said the auction part. I would have been worried about that it would work the opposite for me.
So
So,
do me a favor, grab that piece of the content, maybe even read it in the room because not everybody has maybe read it or maybe they didn't catch it. And I do think it's really important that you bring that in.
okay, so the auction solution, it's on 259. Um, so basically it's saying after you've gone in and they've looked at it and you've asked a bunch of questions about liking it, blah blah blah, that it says like, okay, so if you were to, what do you think this house is worth, or what do you the buyer is wait, but well, let's start. 260. You let me ask you this. The buyer is leaving the night for Chicago. This home is priced at 3.2 mil. Just for fun, you're going to pretend now. If you could wave a magic wand, would you buy it for 2.7? Would you? And then they say, buyer says, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. I would buy it. It would be a steal for 2.7. And then you would be like, just for fun, would you buy it for 2.8? And they say, yeah, it's still a great deal. And you say, I agree. How about 2.9? And the buyer's like, 2.9's still good. And he's like, 3.1. And they're like, maybe I'd have to think about it. So, and then he just reiterates what they say by saying, hey, sounds like you are more comfortable at 2 point whatever it was, 9, not 3.1. Where are you comfortable making an offer? So
Yeah, and here's the fun part on this is it allows your client. I love that you went back to this buyer section of getting them thinking differently because you've got someone in a house, they like it, they're not ready to write an offer. Part of your soft close process is to find out what they would. And the same thing happens, by the way, on the seller side. You ever get a seller who gets a low ball offer and gets emotional and says, we're not going to respond? Yeah, heads or not, right? Well, here's a way again that you can get them out of that emotion and say, okay, I understand that, 250 on this 350 house is not in the realm. And yet, if the offer was 340, would you have taken it? Yeah, that would have been great. Well, how about 330? And you can work down until no, we'd have to think about it. And then how about we counter there to see if we can bring them up? One of my house rules for everybody I coach, we never leave the conversation. We may go backwards in the conversation. Listed at 350, they come in 250, we come back at 360 to send a message. And we never leave the conversation. Thanks for this, Carrie. Tom, brother, you're in with a hot mic. I know you just came in and you're smiling like,
look who you caught.
Yeah. Let's get back to our seller section. What do you got from the 16-step seller process?
This is just really good, and I'm not caught up, and so I'm just going to bow out. Hello, everybody.
It's good to see you. Christy, I got you. And Celeste, I saw your little physical hand go up, so I'll come back to you.
Okay, so on 271 and 272, it talks about if you're the first one in there, as far as like your listing appointment, and then you have somebody that keeps their commitments that are interviewing other people. Well, the goal is to get it there first. And then I like the part where it tells you to try to come back around after the last appointment. So you get to be in front of them again. And they'll keep that commitment because they're keeping their commitments to everybody else.
Absolutely. It's a great objection handler to get that done. And there's a couple others that we'll probably play with in our brainstorming because I do love being the first. Like you say, you've set the standard high. And a lot of times your sellers really don't have a desire to go through 3 or 4 different conversations. They're looking for the one. And if you are the one, a lot of times you can set up to help them with those others and move forward. So awesome info. Awesome for you guys to pay attention that these objection handlers exist. Celeste.
So this particular thing about being first in also lends the story of when you are first in, part of that being first is you really should be well prepared for the things you should be doing even before you show up. And I love the pre-listing interview because, as they say, these questions are helping me prepare for our meeting and should take about 10 minutes. I wonder how many other realtors even ask for that pre-interview question moment. And then when you show up and you've taken in this information, here's how I feel I shine when I go on an appointment. Often I'll see a home. The home is, I've got to learn the home, but I also feel like it's more important to be in relation with the person I'm speaking to. So I'll ask, would you mind if I take notes? And of course, nobody's going to mind. They don't care. But what they don't expect is that I pull out my Evernote to record our meeting, because I've learned I am not at my best if I'm writing things down. I can't listen and write well together. So by listening better, my recording is going to capture everything, including if you guys have ever been in that scenario where you have a husband and a wife that are both talking at you. My recording picks up that stuff that I didn't. And I'm not focused this way. I'm listening and learning what's important to them. I can go deeper when they say something and I see their face light up. So this idea of being prepared, having that first 10-minute conversation on the phone, I think that's something we could all be better at.
Absolutely. And so many agents, like you said, Celeste, don't do it. It's, oh, you want an appointment? Great. Scheduled. Thanks. Bye. I'll see you then. Versus slowing down. And by the way, in that moment asking, now I have a series of questions I always like to talk about before I show up. Is now a good time, about 10, 15 minutes, to talk a little more about your needs? Or would you prefer to schedule something between now and our appointment? Just taking that pause, asking, can totally change the dynamic, because you'll be the only one that actually is working on being prepared. And you might even share that with them. You know, one of my core values is the old Boy Scout motto, be prepared. And so to do that, I have this series of questions. And I'd love to talk about it now. If now's not a good time, I'd love to schedule something, which is better for you. Okay? Awesome. What else you guys have? Great job, Celeste.
I'm going to stress how important that marketing part is. So I'll put it in the chat here because there's a whole process that is not really disclosed from the Ninja style in the book, but it is in Ninja regardless. But your clients, again, they want to know what their home is worth, what you cost, but really how you can differentiate yourself from other agents. And I think making sure that you have a visual plan. I've had a lot of you guys, say, oh, we market to the MLS. Well, what does that mean? You need to visually show them how many different MLS groups that you're marketing to. There could be hundreds of them, but most agents don't do that. Or, oh, we put it on social media. Okay, well, show them all the different channels that you do. Right? Or maybe it's for rent websites. We'll show them the hundreds of for rent and for sale websites that you guys are putting this out to. So a lot of it is visual, visual, visual. Remember that 60% of them are visual, but that marketing plan is huge. And I can tell you right now, I'll read it off real fast, but it's pre-inspection, pre-title commitment, staging, pricing, group marketing system, real estate resource, relocation program, group sign, color brochure box, lockbox, MLS, internet, enhanced internet technology, contact realtors, buyers, mail to the neighbors, personal contacts, counter displays, buyer and retail surveys, open houses, transaction management, and weekly contact. That's the whole marketing plan that Ninja suggests. I'll put it in the chat because it's definitely not in the book, but it's going to be the most important part about that listing consultation.
So let's pause and shut down all your drunk monkey chatter that just hit. Oh my God, that's so much. Done is better than perfect. Start knocking off. Imagine for every listing, part of your prep was just getting one piece done. So you then had it for every other listing going forward. Okay. So I'm looking at a couple of you particularly. I can't go on a listing until all this is complete. Go with what you got and keep plussing it every step of the way based on this ninja model. All right. Jeanette, maybe Doug Jeanette, or is it Jeanette?
I'll be a Jeanette today.
Yes. What's up, my dear?
Okay. Just as you're putting out the information, be aware of the acronyms that we're using, the short code, the MLS. Recently, in the last year, and I've heard it before, but it's, everybody said, yeah, we put it in the MLS, we do this, we do this, we do this. And so seemingly good interviews, and one realtor comes along, yes, and we're putting in the multiple listing service. And they said, oh, good, we've had all these realtors, we've just been waiting for somebody to put it in the multiple listing service because they didn't know what an MLS was. It literally cost other people, it literally cost other people their listings because we just talked code. So where can we make sure that we're using language that we don't think everybody knows, or that, just a thought on that.
Well, and it's absolutely important, and it's something that we talked about in my previous coaching world, and it was one of my biggest laughters because I'm standing in front of the room inside the big red box talking about not using acronyms because that's in the content, and I'm in the one place that I know uses almost as many acronyms as the military. TLOP, RD. I mean, just acronym after acronym after acronym. And you're absolutely right, Jeanette. We've got to stop that in our language. We're so used to doing it with each other that we do it with people that aren't in our world, and use the full words, full sentences. So absolutely. All right. Who else? I see you guys posting on chat. Now, bring it into the room live. Don't hide behind the written word. Christy.
Okay, so what I was asking is, I've been told to do a pre-listing packet prior. You do the phone call, then before your appointment, you drop off or have hand delivered a pre-listing packet and ask them to look over that. And then when you're ready to sign, you give them a seller's guide. And a lot of that has a breakdown of what different systems you're going to market it on and all that stuff. But you don't want to give them all your information and all of your plan. That's why there's 2 different packets prior to it being signed. Would you agree?
Well, I take a little different approach on that because why? What's the motivation to not put everything in the way of your marketing plan, let's say, in the pre-listing package?
I've just been told that, so that's why I'm asking.
There's a motivation behind that story, though, and I'm asking, what do you think that motivation might be?
I think they say not to do that so that they don't give your information to somebody else. But if you're doing your job effectively and representing yourself right, then there shouldn't be anybody else that they want to give it to, right?
Well, I actually want to go instead deeper to the mindset piece. Is that an abundance mindset where you're thinking big and everything's great, or is that a limited fear-based mindset? Oh my gosh, somebody else is going to take this and run.
Limited fear. Okay.
I've heard it, by the way. I used to teach it. It was in the content that I taught.
Okay.
Don't give them everything up front. And here's what I've learned. I am here in front of 30 other agents going through this content that could change their life, and I could give you everything I have in writing. And the odds are pretty high that less than 2% of you will take action. That's what the numbers look like in the grand scheme of things.
I am taking action.
I know you are. You're most in this place are. I'm just talking big picture. So in your agent body around you in your marketplace, you literally could give people your material in a digital format ready to copy, and they won't. They won't take action. So instead, let's just have an abundant mindset of sharing and giving. And by the way, the second half of that, the odds are pretty high that your consumer, your client, won't actually go through everything you gave them. Just know that as well. They have busy lives. They get it. They peruse it. And then it'll be there for you to actually go through live and make sure they understand everything. Sound fair? So yes, the free listing package, get it there before you go, because it'll differentiate you. And by all means, the more the merrier. Don't hold back. All right? What else you guys have?
I have something.
Yes, Celeste.
I think just observationally, I've done this listing presentation, I don't know how many times, I would say hundreds. And what I've discovered is I put it in the chat. You asked me not to just shove it in the chat, so I'm going to put my thoughts out there. I really love this idea of getting in relation with someone in a genuine way. In other words, don't go to the top and say, yeah, I like pickleball when you've never picked up a racket. I don't go that way. But what I do find is sometimes you have to find a story of a past experience, whether it was positive or negative, so that they're benefiting from your experience and they hear you've walked this walk before. So, I mean, I just went on a listing appointment and I'm getting this listing. I promise you, I didn't do any of my typical, here's my everything. I didn't have my book together. I didn't have my thumpability with me. I went in with the relationship of being referred to her and that I've been there, I've been in this space with the same model just within the last 6 months. So how can I help you? What would you like me to help you with? And I'm telling you, this relationship thing was more powerful than anything else. She already knew I knew what I was doing. So the stories can help, but listening, I guess that's the key, is asking questions, keep asking, how do you feel about that? How long do you think that will take? Who's going to help you with this? How can I help you? My gosh, I mean, even just in this last year, being under the thumb of Russ, of ask. Gosh, if I could tell one story, if you're not getting that from this mastermind, that it is not what you say, it's how you ask. That's the piece that we all should get out of this.
One of my favorite coaching conversations with everybody is when you guys call me that something's gone awry. And I ask how the conversation went. And you say, well, I told them this, I told them this, I told them this, I told them this, I told them this. And I'll just ask, and what should you have done? Because you guys know better. Okay? You took time of possession, as Larry talks about. You told them everything rather than actually interviewing, finding the problem that you get to solve. That's where the questions come in so powerful. So thank you for that, Celeste. Appreciate you. All right. What else, guys? We got 5 more minutes. This is your room. There's lots in these 16 steps. Colleen and then Camacho, I got you on deck, brother.
I just have a question because I just switched over to EXP literally yesterday from Coldwell Banker, and
welcome to the party.
I know, I'm so excited. I can already see this huge difference, and thank you for letting me in this room, by the way, when I wasn't even switched over.
Of course.
That just further cemented my decision. But anyway, my question is, because Coldwell is traditional office brokerage, and a lot of things that Larry brings up is meeting people at the office, and like 274, page 274, set a second appointment to meet at your office. How do you guys kind of work around that? Because I've heard there's like a hub thing, but I don't know if we have that here where I'm at. I haven't had a chance to even look.
What community are you in?
What do you mean, what community? In my hand, I'm sorry.
City, what state, what municipality?
I'm sorry. I'm in Beaumont. Texas. So
Beaumont, Texas. So I want you to look up Regus, Regus.
Regis.
Yep, Regus.com is co-working space. Guys, you guys have, by the way, if they're not there, I guarantee there's other co-working space in your environment.
Okay.
I prefer that. Here's the fun part for me. When you go to a real estate office, any real estate office, anybody in that environment that catches you, I love going there because I get to connect and talk to people. How much time is actually spent working on business in those conversations?
That's why I never went to my office at Coldwell.
Right?
But I didn't meet clients at an office ever. So I just worked around it, but I just didn't know, since he suggests it so much, but I didn't even know there was such thing as co-working space. So that's why.
So Regis is one, and here's where I was going with this, because I started my home inspection business. I went into a co-working space when I did that many, many years ago. Now I'm around all types of different entrepreneurs and people growing stuff, and the conversations we're having is about each other's businesses, where I can learn from the way they do things. And in your real estate office, what are the odds somebody goes, you know what, Colleen, you're brilliant. My sister wants to list her house. Will you list it?
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to happen in a real estate office.
Exactly.
Yet, in a co-working space, it absolutely happens. So if you're not leveraging one right now, I would challenge you to go find one to start spending time at. And Regis, by the way, on the EXP platform is included. So you have access to those. But if not, find a different one. Find out, if it's $100 a month to use the co-working space, go there.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. I never heard of that.
All right?
And I was thinking of that too, for so far it's been okay with most of my clients. Nobody's had an issue, but you start getting into, I like to get into luxury listings and things. I feel like that maybe having that professionalism of a meeting there might be a good thing.
And it absolutely is. And if you want to play there, go. Camacho, you're next up, brother.
Hey, yeah, three things. Number one, on that subject right there, I often will meet folks in the hotel lobby of a Marriott or a Hilton that's super professional, and there's usually one at every corner. Second thing is the easiest listing appointments are to go on are the ones where they call you and say, I'm ready to list my house, or we're ready to move up. Which begs the question that we've got to be so on top of our DM before, day in and day out, because we don't have to present all of that stuff. We walk in and they're like, what do you think we should price our house at? You sign it, you're in and out, and boom. So if we're doing our job like ninjas, 365 days a year, our listing appointments are really simple. And the third thing, going to what you were saying, Russ, about I told them. We are uncomfortable sometimes with silence. We like to talk too much, and sometimes we'll talk people out of doing our business with us. I would like to challenge everybody today, right after this call, go into your bathroom mirror, stare at yourself, eyeball to eyeball in front of the mirror for 2 minutes, and see how long it takes before you look away. And you're only looking at yourself in silence, and see how long it takes before you look away. So that's just my 2-minute tip today. See how long you can do it.
Yeah, silence is golden. We've heard that, and it absolutely is in sales. Just think about that. The person who breaks the silence gives up the power. So that being said, guys, it is the bottom of the hour. Always here to respect your guys' time. Love you being here. Love you pouring into your businesses and sharing with each other the golden nuggets that you're pulling out of the content. My new book isn't in yet. I'm optimistic it comes today. I just went and checked the mail before I saw you guys. We are going to get into tomorrow. I still want stuff out of here if there's something else out of the 16-step seller process. Yet tomorrow I want to do the deep dive on pricing on the bridge. It's one of my favorite conversations. I've been doing it for 10 plus years before I even read Ninja Selling. And I teach a lot on this piece, so we'll have some great conversations around it.